What's up, everybody? My name is Josh LaFleur from Late Star Piano. Today's video, I want to talk to you about different dynamics, the ranges that we have, at least some of the common ranges. And really the point of this video is for you to be able to figure out and put an image to each of the dynamic ranges. So if you don't know, when you play the piano or really any musical instrument, we have something called dynamics. Dynamics is the volume that you play at. So you can play really softly or really low, and of course you can play really loudly and abruptly, okay? So that's called dynamics, just the volume that you play at. There's so many different subsections of dynamics, different levels. You can have super, super, super loud to super, super loud to super loud to loud to not so loud and all the way down. So it can be tough, especially if you're brand new to piano, to distinguish between a level 8 loudness versus a level 9, let's say, loudness. Okay, so what I recommend and what I do personally is I have images for at least the most common dynamic ranges. So most common ones you see are pianissimo, which is really soft. You have piano, which is soft or quiet. You have mezzo piano, which is kind of soft. And then you have mezzo forte, which is kind of loud. Then forte, which is loud, and fortissimo, which is really loud. So those are the ones we're going to be going over here now. And you want to come up with your own images. I'm going to give you some examples for each one of these, but what you really want to do is come up with your own images, something that sticks with you, so that whenever you see a mezzo piano line or an indication of mezzo piano on your sheet music, you can think of that image and you have an idea of how loud that should be instantaneously. So we'll start from the bottom and work our way to the top. Pianissimo. When you see that, for me, that image is like if you are in a museum. Picture yourself in a museum and there's a bunch of people around. There's a person lecturing on this super rare artifact that's never been discovered before and it's brand new to them, and there's some groundbreaking, earth-shattering thing, okay? And you're in this museum and this person's giving a lecture with the piece that they found in this glass case. But because it's so great, you want to whisper something to your friend who's right next to you. And keep in mind, this is busy, so you're shoulder to shoulder with a bunch of these people. It's super silent in there besides the person talking. So that's the image I use. Pianissimo would be if you lean over to your friend and you say, wow, this is really cool. What's the level that you would say that at? Would you say that how I'm talking now? No. Would you say it even lower, like let's say maybe here, more of a conversational level? No. It would be a whisper. You would literally whisper something to that person. You would try to make it quick, right? That's my image of pianissimo. And again, you can come up with your own. It doesn't have to be that. It can be, but it can be whatever you want. The next level we have is piano. So that is a little bit louder than pianissimo. So for that one, I use a similar image in my mind, but this is like if you're in a meeting, you're in some corporate environment and you're in some board or board of directors type of meeting. Everyone's sitting at this table, and all of a sudden the person at the front of the room, they get a phone call. Let's say that your boss gets a phone call, and he's still in the room. So he says, give me a few seconds here. Let me answer this phone call. He picks it up, and he's talking to this other person, and everyone else is just still sitting at the table. You lean over and you want to talk to your friend, and you want to ask him a question. Hey, when was this report due, or whatever. You probably wouldn't whisper, right? You wouldn't be as quiet as the museum, shoulder to shoulder with a bunch of people, but you would still be pretty quiet because your boss is right there. He's on the phone, so that's a little bit quieter. And you wouldn't necessarily whisper, but maybe a little bit louder than a whisper. That's how you would ask the question to your friend. Then another level, the next level above that, is mezzo forte, or mezzo piano. Mezzo piano. So we have pianissimo, piano. Now we have mezzo piano. Mezzo piano is somewhat quiet. This one is more like a regular, you can say, conversation type of voice. So mezzo piano is like a regular conversation. It's kind of like we're talking right now. Or if you talk to your friend and you're in a quiet environment, you're just having a regular, everyday conversation. That's what I think of as the mezzo piano. Okay. Then above that, you have mezzo forte. So this one is kind of loud, right? So now we're getting up. So mezzo forte is like if you saw somebody walking across the street, let's say you were shopping is the image I use. You're shopping, you have your shopping cart or whatever, and you see your friend you haven't seen in like 10 years. They walk right by you. Okay, so you're still pretty close to them. You don't have to shout across the parking lot, but they walk right by you with the shopping cart, but you're outside, so you hear some car noises, some horns, people talking, things like that. So you have to kind of raise your voice a little bit. You have to get louder than you would just in a regular conversation. Like here, you have to actually get kind of loud, like I am right now. That's that mezzo forte. It's louder than just conversational. You're not screaming, but you're talking louder to try to get this person's attention. You want to say, hey, so and so, remember me? I'm Josh from Late Start Piano, and it's been 10 years since we've talked, and it's good to see you. How you doing? That's the voice you want to use for mezzo forte. Then above that, you have forte. Forte is loud. Okay, so forte is loud. So that would be in the example, similar situation. You're in the parking lot, but let's say he's far away. So you recognize your friend, but he's far away. Or maybe if you have a kid, you can use this image. You have a kid, and they start like running away from you or something, trying to get away, just playing around in the parking lot. So because they're in the parking lot, right, you need to talk to them loudly because they need to stop what they're doing immediately and come back to you. So you would yell at them. You would yell their name and you would be loud and you'd want to get their attention so that they come back to you. Okay. That's forte. Then you have fortissimo. Again, that is really loud. So that's the next level up. That would be like you're at a football game, and let's say like a high school football game. I'm sure at least some of you or most of you have been to that. You have the high school band right here, and they're playing music, and then you have the whistles and the actual players playing on the field, and you want to yell something to your player. Let's say you have a kid in high school or a friend in high school, whatever, and he's playing and he just got a touchdown on the field. You want to yell something to him, right? So you start yelling, waving your hands around, exciting, cheering, things like that, and you would be loud. That's fortissimo. That's that next level up. Okay. And again, these are just my examples, the images that I use. You can use whatever image that you want. It doesn't have to be these, but just to kind of give you a level, a kind of perspective of something that I use, that's what I use. So just to recap again, you had that pianissimo, you're super soft, you're in the museum, crowded people, you have to lean over, whisper. Then you have mezzo, or then you have piano, which is a little bit louder. You're in the boardroom with your boss, he gets a phone call, you lean over to your coworker, ask him a quick question. Then you have mezzo piano, which is just a regular conversation voice. Then you have mezzo forte, which is a little bit louder. Your friend walks by you in the parking lot, you recognize him, so you try to get his attention. You raise your voice a little bit. Then you have forte. Forte is your kid runs across the parking lot or whatever. You need to get their attention immediately. So you have to yell their name so that they come back to you. Then you have fortissimo. That's that loud section. You're at the football game. Your friend or whatever just scored a touchdown, and now you're cheering for them. You're screaming their name, and you want them to be able to hear you. That's really loud. Okay. So those are just some images, things that I use personally to help me. When I see that on sheet music, I see those symbols. I can have something that I can kind of pull up in my mind so I can play it right there on command. Again, you want to come up with your own so that they stick, so that you can remember. I would just do those. If you know those symbols, that's plenty. That's really all you need. Especially if you're brand new to piano, that's more than enough. You won't have to go outside of those ranges in any way, and you will be all set. You'll finally be able to master those dynamics in music. So I hope that helps. My name is Josh LaFleur from Late Start Piano.